morning, sir. This is Sneha here. I am a participant from Calcutta, and I believe that case study is talking about a particular incident which has happened with a individual, and how that individual was groomed or taken through different steps to achieve his or her goal.
Okay, great. Anyone else? Okay, so let's start. So this case discussion which we are going to study, we are focusing towards the academic cases which we used to discuss in the class and how to develop it and how to make it more uh, creative or more responsive while having a discussion in the class. So let's start. So what is a case? As ma'am has told, it is a brief description of all the events. So what you are actually doing, you are summarizing something which has happened in past. Just remember, the thing has already happened in past. It may be with the person, or it may be with the groups, or maybe the events. So this can be related to company, any personal experiences. Maybe you can also be a kind of you can share your own experience. It should be related to some kind of understanding, some kind of impact, some kind of relevant information should come out of it. So this is actually description of the things, past events which has happened, and why it is required, so that the people in all the areas, whether it's psychology, medicine, education, or any, we are the people from the management field, whether you are a marketer or a HR guy or many other. So it is helpful for all to make the further decisions. So whenever you are working in a company, you require to make a decisions quickly, and that decisions has to be supported by certain past events. If you want to increase the market share, is it a good decision or a bad decision? How will you know? So the past decisions help you out to take more active decisions when you are working in a company, or if you're working in a kind of a project which is of longitudinal in nature, the result will come later on. So you need to make sure that whatever I'm doing, it's going in the right step, right direction. So basically, case is just a summarization of whatever the past events have occurred. And we will speak out mostly in this case, the management case study. We will, I'm not concerned with the medical or the other case study, but you can derive the importance because it is generic in nature. Generic in nature, the case making is generic in nature. How you, it's go ahead with. Why do a case? Why? The question should come in your mind. Why it is so important? Why we are talking about this case? Why you are here? Why you are here to attend a 1 hour session on case? So basically, in today's era, uh, if you are an academician, you are teaching in a class, there is a gap you should understand. You might be having an industry experience. You may or may not be having this. The thing is, industry academia gap. Whatever you are teaching in the class, it is a theoretical application or the concept or the contents which they are going to apply in future. So in order to fulfill this gap, it is utmost require that these students should be connected with the real events, the past events, which has happened in the company. It can be related to any subject, finance, HR, marketing, or whatever you are into. So what happens here? The theory which you are teaching, it is well connected with the case. It is well connected so that they can make the prior decisions when the same events comes across to them while they are into company or while they are into situation. So what we are actually doing, we are formulating a boardroom in a class. In that boardroom, someone is playing a director's role. Someone is playing a manager's role. Someone is a sales guy. Someone is a HR guy. So these all people are collaborating together and trying to solve that case. In realistic sense, you are giving them a kind of situation so that they can brainstorm. I'm just giving one example so that you can able to connect it. A company is, suppose a ABC Limited company. I will not take any other company names. ABC Limited company is in a market from last 4 to 5 years, and they have acquired the North region. They are good in Indian market. They have a North region acquired market. They are into FMCG sector. Now, FMCG sector is already, if you see, there there is no certain kind of innovation. The innovation which they do, they make a changes in the packaging or the taste or whatever. So now they find a saturation in their business. They are finding a saturation, and they are struggling to expand their business. They have called a meeting what they should do. This is a kind of short situation where a company is finding a saturation in their business. So if the same case is provided in a class and it is given to a person in a class, a student in a class, and leave them to brainstorm what you can do. Actually, what you can do. You have taught them lots of theory in the marketing or other areas, but they can articulate it or not in a proper manner. That's the question. Because in exams, they used to write the theory and a kind of they pass it, they get some number, but what actually is happening, they are able to articulate it in a proper way. In the interview, it helps a lot. So this situation, they will come up with the lots of answers, and you have to guide them that yes, why this solution is better than the other solution. Now again, one thing I should tell you, while describing a case in a class, it doesn't mean that you are chasing a good case or a bad case. You're describing a good case or bad case means the chronology which has happened with the company. They might be sales loss, they might be into loss of the market share or the attrition of the employees. These are the bad situation. The case is also being described when the conditions are favorable. So both the things can happen. It is not always like you are describing the bad things. So what is happening here? They will come with the solution. What else can be done? So this is one of the foremost reason you are developing a case and you are chasing the case. So better insights, already discussed. You are preparing the future managers. They are coming to know industry academia gap is just going down. And then accreditation body requirements. It has become the, if you're planning, if your institute, if your college, university is planning to get the accreditation like NBA, NAC and all these, or international like ACSB, these are the foremost requirement, what you are actually doing. So this, how it is relevant to other stakeholders, this is also being discussed. So this makes an impact. Whatever you are teaching, it's actually give a sense of confidence to you also and even the students. That's why we are doing a case. Now, how to do a case? This is the foremost question which comes in our mind. I know that cases are there to be discussed in class, but I don't know how to start, how to make a kind of opening in a class. Shall I borrow it from somewhere? Shall I develop it? And if I borrow, then what should be my approach? I will cover each and every aspect. So this 1 hour, a compact kind of capsule, I will give it to you. This 1 hour is not enough, but yes, you'll be able to understand the overview, how you should move ahead, and you can start a case discussion in the class. So first of all, what you have to do a desk research. Desk research is important from your aspect. There are n number of cases which are revolving around. You just need to catch it. Example, there are Ukraine-Russia war going on. In the broader sense, if you're trying to write a case in international market, what would be the influence of it on the selected companies? Few companies who are dependent on the energy, few companies who are dependent on the resources which are to be acquired from Ukraine or Russia. How it is going to affect the situation. So the situation can be uncontrollable and controllable. This you need to identify. Uncontrollable elements can not, it's not in your hand. It can be just minimized to the extent by moving to the plan B, by looking after the other resources, or just switching off. But controllable are the things which can be in your hand, which you have overlooked, which you have missed. So you have to identify how you can move ahead. So the case of COVID happened and the production stopped, and many companies came up with the innovative idea how to move ahead. They cannot stop the business. They started with certain other kind of verticals, other kind of products. They started selling it. The sale of the sanitizer, mask, it boomed. The company who were making this Alan Solly and many other companies in the Surat mills who were producing the cloths, they started producing the masks, and they also started exporting it. So this is like uncontrolled, how you're making, how you're gaining the opportunity. This is uncontrollable example. You have shifted to some other kind of same raw materials are used for making those masks. You have aligned it. Now, how it happens, desk research, as an academician, how you can start. There are two kinds of case studies. One is based on primary data, and the second is based on the secondary data. So primary data requires an interview with the officials of a company or the person involved. The interview can be both analyzed in a sense of qualitative or a quantitative. So this primary case is a very hot topic, a very need based. It will be accepted. It will be accepted easily whenever you are trying to publish it somewhere in the case journals. It will get accepted easily. But if you're talking about the secondary, yes, that also.
You are.
Hello, am I audible? Is there any question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
You are.
Okay. So I was into this primary and secondary. So when you're going for the secondary, so secondary means that you're collecting the data online, offline, from the various magazine, newspaper, articles, interviews, and then you're summarizing it. You're making a structure of it. You're putting a sense to it, a sense which gives some solution. A case past happened, what solution this company came up with. So these are the things which you have to go with through the desk research. And for the desk research, you need to go with the interviews. You have to align with the people. People may not give you time. The primary data collection is really very complicated. So you have to sign a kind of non-disclosure agreement. Person at a higher kind of the person who is the GM or the CEO of a company, if he is giving the permission to you, you may go ahead with the kind of case development. In case not, then you can go with the other resources available. Then the most important one, dilemma drafting. Dilemma, what does this mean? Dilemma means what is haunting, what the company is being haunted about, what situation they are being gripped with. So they are facing the problem is they are facing, how they should overcome. So that is the dilemma there. Many things are going in their mind. Either we should go with the new product, either we should continue with the present product, either we should go with the new market. These are the dilemma which goes out inside the mind of a company or the manager who is responsible for upgrading or improving the situation. So this dilemma has to be drafted well. Your case will not be selected. It will be at randomly rejected if you don't have a strong dilemma being written. I will give you some important tips how the case has to be drafted, what important elements you need to take care of. Then it's the sections. So particularly if you're writing a research paper, there are a refined structure given to it. A refined structure which says that start with the abstract. I'm talking about the research paper. Don't get confused that I'm talking about the case. I'm just, for the example purpose, I'm quoting research paper structure here. So research paper starts with an abstract which summarizes your overall paper. Then it starts with the introduction. Then it starts with the literature review. Next is research methodology. Then the discussion. Then you can go with the conclusion, future implications. These are the set default structure. But in a case has a flexible structure. More or less, you can include as per your need. For example, few of the things you have to include and other things, it depends on your need. Few things like you may start with abstract summarization of your overall case, which may include the introduction, dilemma, and how they are moving. And then this abstract could be of 200, 300 words. You should not mark abstract as a term there. Without marking abstract as a term, you can start this paragraph writing at the beginning of the opening of your case. After the title, then the abstract, and then you start with an introduction. So the sections has to be defined. We'll see the different sections, what actually happens in the case of writing the case study, what could be the different sections. Then required data. So if you're writing a case, it doesn't mean that you're not playing with the data. Data is always important. If your case is not supporting the data, it means that it is useless. You have made just a skeleton, and the things which are required inside, the heart, the brain, all they are missing. So the data is like supporting the evidences which you have presented inside. So it could be like your figures, numbers, tables, your market share, the percentage, the past percentage, 10 years description of the 10 years profit and all, or the ads, the pictures, graphs, links, all these are the data. So this has to be collected. Now let's move dilemma, which I was talking, which is utmost important. Without this, you cannot move ahead. So there are dilemma means which are unsolved. People are asking a question, how should we move ahead? It is a decision to be taken. Next step, what should I do? There are n number of choices, options available. Which should I pick up? Shall I close this business and move ahead with, shall I start with a new product? All these things comes in your mind. Then which is more important? You're giving a kind of rank to it. The number one, this is important. You're prioritizing according to the timeline. How much time it will take if I move to the number one, the product development, or a new product launch, or an existing product improvement. So these are the dilemma. Then the second most important thing, without which you cannot describe the case, you cannot write the case, you cannot discuss the case in a class. You should not. This is a mistake being made by the people while writing the case first time. So there should be a protagonist in your case. Protagonist एक सूत्रधार है. He is a kind of you are telling a story line, and who is the sutradhar of it? Protagonist. You have to mention there in a case. A person will be attached, and the whole thing, the dilemma will be revolving around him. The whole thing will be revolving around. There may be n number of person in coming and going out in the case, but this person is the important one through whom the cases revolves around. So what is his voice? What are the quotations? Quotations means like the things which has been discussed in the boardroom, the meeting. Market share is going down. How to improvise it? This can be turned into quotation. descriptions. You're describing the things with the help of protagonist. And how you're going to source it. So protagonist, if it is from company, if you're collecting a primary data, and if you're taking an interview, CEO might get a protagonist. He can become a protagonist. Suppose example I'm giving, you're working on a Patanjali case. Now Patanjali has become a brand, FMCG brand, retail brand. Now people have written too many cases on Patanjali, primary and secondary both. So if they are talking to Baba Ramdev with some connection directly, this is known as a kind of getting his voice. He becomes a protagonist. Baba Ramdev becomes a protagonist, and the case will revolve around him. That Baba, just I'm giving a example, and people will start drafting a case by putting him into picture. That CEO of a company or something, Baba Ramdev started with a kind of yoga, a kind of good motivation, social experiments. Then he launched Ayurvedic products and other FMCG products by seeing the adulteration which were going on like this. So you are involving this person beforehand, and then you are ending with dilemma also. Baba Ramdev is just had a board meeting, called his top persons, and he was thinking about how to expand his business. So this person becomes a protagonist. In case if Baba Ramdev doesn't give the consent, now what you are doing as a business person or as an academician, as a researcher, you are collecting data from the data which are already available in them. You cannot say a confidential data as a secondary data. You cannot use it without the consent of the person, without the consent of the company. So public available data can be counted like newspaper article, the data which are available publicly on the website. So if certain data which you are taking from company, you need the consent. So now here what you are doing, instead of quoting Baba Ramdev, you have to bring a protagonist who can become a face of this business. So what happens here? XYZ person can become a protagonist who has an interest in Ayurvedic market or a retail business, and he starts with a kind of discussion that this the study he was working on this project, and then certainly he came across many of the events. Then recently he gone with the Baba Ramdev's Patanjali businesses, and now he is into dilemma. Like this, you have to go with some connection should be there, protagonist should be there. So for getting a primary protagonist, it's a challenge. For getting a secondary data protagonist, it can be you, it can be a person of interest that can be easily handled. But again, the primary is more important. Secondary sometimes become challenge to get it published in a top-notch case like Harvard and Ivy. Now, identify the problem. So what you're doing actually, you are using the problem to describe the case. You're using the problem to describe the case. So problem. Yes. Any question? Any question?
No, sir, I think it was just by mistake.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what you're doing here, you are not blindly writing a case. You are dependent on the problem. You have to identify. This is the biggest issue when you discuss in a class. The student doesn't able to identify the problem, what actually this company is dealing with, what actual problem they are into. So in a case, what happens, in the beginning itself, the problem is mentioned in certain indirect way. It cannot be directly mentioned, but yes, indirect way they are mentioned. Some people are talking, some few board members are talking, some managers are talking with their supervisors, employees, that we need to look into the sourcing of the product, raw material, and how we are going to head. We need to discuss in the next meeting. So this could give a specific answer that they are having a problem related to the sourcing of raw material. So somewhere they will not write that this is a problem. The person has to come up with a kind of analysis and the next area where this problem is mentioned at the last end of the paragraph. So end of the paragraph, the dilemma, it again comes into picture. So some examples here I have given. What are the problems? Like downfall in revenue, market share, sorry, employee attrition, increasing competition. These are the kind of things which can be controllable. Uncontrollable events can be there also, like change in government policies. So you need to identify all this problem first. We'll talk more about this. Then, after identifying the problem, you need to find the root cause. Now, I want your attention here. Just pay attention here. See, the problem is, company problem is downfall in sales, downfall in market share, downfall in revenue. But is it a kind of thing I am looking for? I need to know what is the root cause of it. Why revenue is falling? Why market share is going down? Why sales is going down? So for that, you need to find a root cause. So what happened that sales gone down? Is it like that there is a lack of salespeople? Or is it like that you have not advertised much? Or is it like that they have lost interest? Or is it like that new competitor have entered? There can be n numbers of root causes. So you have to identify all those root causes. Are you getting my point? Both the things are being connected with each other, the problem and the root cause of it. So you need to find the root cause. And many times while discussing in the class, root cause is ignored. If you're ignoring the root cause, then the whole sense of doing the case is lost. The case doesn't has a meaning to it. Now, let's move ahead with create an outline. So you have studied till now what I have given to you. We were discussing about this, how to do a case. This was the rough draft I was giving to you, how you can start. And then I explained more bit in detail dilemma and connection to the dilemma, problem and root cause are there. Then you have to create an outline for the case. What are the basic structure which you want to have in it? As I told that research paper has. So this main points of the case study. So one thing you should remember. One thing here you should remember, that don't mix your case study analysis with the solution to the case. To reframe it again, you are presenting a problem through narrative sentences, narration. That is one aspect. You are giving a solution to those narration, to those case. That is another aspect. So my suggestion is don't mix both of them. Like that in a same paper, you are giving the case also and you are providing the solution also. This should not be done. So case study, when you are writing, it should end with the dilemma itself, the questions and the solutions to it should be written in the teaching notes. It is like separate thing which is not provided to the student. Student should never be provided with the teaching notes. It is for the academicians, the teachers, the professors who are guiding the students. If you provide them the teaching notes, they already know the solution, then it's useless. That case is useless. It is and it doesn't mean that teaching note is the perfect solution to your case study. Apart from whatever has been written in teaching note, you have to find other paradigm to the case that you can explore. Now, what is happening here? You have to organize a flow of the case and how it ends. So the case should end with the real problem that the business is facing. Now, real problem the business is facing means here the problem has already been faced. The problem is not the current one. Are you getting my point? If you're writing a case which is current one that cannot be published, beforehand, because no company will share their problems. They will identify a solution for it through by themselves or by outsourcing it to the consultant. Once they are through it, once they have gone with those problems, it's in their hand to decide whether they want to get it published or not. So the people like you, the researchers, if they approaches them and if they want to publish their problem and want that most of the people should get an idea about it, they can give you a permission. So this is an industry problem which ends with some dilemma problems. Let's see the solution part. Till now you have seen the problem part. What were the problems? Now solution part also requires a kind of detailed explanation of the things. Teaching notes. Teaching notes is accompanied with all the cases. Now this is only available to the faculty members. You have to subscribe for it. You have to purchase it. It's not freely available. So how it starts with, how you, if you are writing a case, how you can write a teaching note. You have to start with a synopsis. Synopsis is just a summary of the overall case which you have explained in a class. And then you have to next write an objective and target audience. This is utmost important. Who are the target audience? For you, it may be the MBA student, PG student, UG student, or even the corporate people, the people who are the managers who are working in a company. So these people can come into picture. So you have to clearly mention there in the teaching note that these are my target audience and objectives, what the people will learn. What is the learning from this case? What concepts, what theories they are going to learn? For example, if you are a marketing guy, you must be teaching in the class that there are 4 P's. There are segmentation, targeting, positioning. If you're teaching services marketing, you might be teaching about the service blueprint or some other concepts. These are the theoretical concepts, theories. Now, if you are connecting a case to it, that people will be able to identify the different aspects of 4 P's, or how the segmentation is done, or how the positioning is done with the real life case example. So these are the learning objectives. Research method. So research method, basically you have collected it. Is it a primary case-based method or a secondary case-based method? You have to mention somewhere. Teaching plan. Now teaching plan gives you an idea. Don't worry, these are the PPTs which are available. I will also show you one sample case and one sample teaching note, how it is drafted. So teaching plan actually tells you in a class of 1.5 hours, like 90 minutes or 60 minutes, how you are going to deliver the case. For the first 20 minutes, what should be your plan? What should be your points to explain? For the next 25 minutes, what should be your concentration? So this gives you a structured report about 90-minute or a 60-minute plan of a class. Then assignment or a discussion plan. So assignment actually are the questions which you are going to ask, which are coming from the dilemma, from the problems, arising from the problems. So each problem have a kind of root attached to it, a cause attached to it. So each cause might be having alternatives, multiple alternatives available. So to launch a new product or not to launch a product. So you can draft a question like, what should the company do? Shall they launch a new product, or they should concentrate on a present product, improvising the present product? Now the question has been put in front of the students. They let them brainstorm. Few groups will be targeting that they should launch a new product. Few groups will be targeting, no, they should concentrate on a present product. You have to take answers in both the cases. Why launching the new product? What will be the pros and cons? Why not launching the new product and going with the present one? What will be the pros and cons? So in this manner, many questions are formulated. Now, if you ask me what should be the minimum number of questions or what should be the maximum number, a case has a limitation of number of pages. So teaching notes usually starts with 7-8 plus pages at least, and you cannot go more than 25-30 pages. So if you are going more than 30 pages, the thing will be more comprehensive. It will be like more detailing, so that is not considered. So case should be very crisp, clear, short. If it is short, and it will be more interesting to be discussed in the class. Point. So 4-5 questions are on an average good to go with. I have seen the cases start with 4 to 5 and maximum 7 to 8. I have not seen more than that. So this is the teaching overall questions. Then your model analysis and answers also presented. You don't have to ask question only. You have to give the probable answers to it. Now, remember, teaching notes are not perfect. It is just guiding you. After reading a teaching note, it may happen that that case has been written in past 3 years back, 4 years back, 5 years back. Many changes has happened. You may add something new to it. You can give a dimension to it. You can improvise it. So it's all up to you. And last, epilogue postscript, which says that what happened, end note means what happened with the company. If you come across, you can mention there in few lines, in few sentences, what actually happened, how it happened. This is presented. And exhibits are actually supporting evidence. Whatever answers you are giving, you can support it with some detailed data table and all. So exhibits also comes picture into the case. So this is the teaching notes generally, which is usually followed. So this is more structured. Teaching notes are more structured. You should follow like this. You should, in the case of 90% cases, you'll see that this is the format of the teaching note. So you can follow it. Next, the outline of case study. So I have given you the teaching note format. Now let's see what case study includes. Now case study is like I told you that it's flexible in nature. It's not the fixed format I am giving here. So you may or may not follow it. It's all up to you. So it starts with the title. Title should be very crispy, clear, it should not be very long. It should be 8 to 9 words are more preferable. Then abstract, as you have, I have told you that up to 300 words abstract you can write down, summarizing overall case. And then subject information about the companies. After abstract, there is an introduction term. So in introduction, many people, what they do, they write the dilemma and the past present situation of the company. So it's all up to you whether you are making a new kind of topic here or you are writing it in introduction itself. Challenges and objective, what this company is really facing, what is the situation, and what solution they have gone with. Actually, they might have gone with some solution and that could have not worked out. So that you have to put here. And then mainly people also present the competitors. They also mention few of the competitors which are available in the market who has led to this situation. They also present their details also. So discussion again, the case, what research questions they are actually raising. So at last, it should end with the research questions, what the company should do, what that person, protagonist, actually it revolves around the protagonist, what actually he should do. And at last, acknowledgement is not so common, but exhibits and references are common. It should be there. Exhibit and references you cannot avoid. So what is common, I will tell. Title is common, you cannot avoid. Abstract is optional, you may or may not. Introduction is common. And then after introduction, everything is flexible. Like in between you can come up with the companies and other companies information, present in present situation of the company, history of the company, and then discussion at the last. It is common to raise with the research question and with the research question. These are the things in the case study. Now, the next is the question which may be coming in your mind: how to find a case for classroom teaching. ये क्वेश्चन आपके दिमाग में आ रहा होगा कि ये केस के बारे में तो डिस्कशन हो गया. I may not able to write a case at instantly. I may not be. I need a time to let me aware of it. I want to make it more concise. So there are certain cases already available, which are required to be subscribed, purchased, and I would recommend you, whenever you are sharing the case documents, don't share electronically any of the case documents, because these case documents are copyrighted. So you cannot share any case document freely. I will showcase you some examples. I will not share you the case study, but I will give you the links from where you can download. If you are a faculty member, if you are a researcher, you can download. If you are a researcher, you have to take you should be having valid email ID, not your personal email ID, your a kind of email ID attached to your institute, and you have to take a permission from your mentor, your guide. And if you're a faculty, you can directly load your details, your web links, and you can get an access to most of the Harvard cases, Ivy cases, top of the cases, free of cost, but you cannot share it. That is the limitation. So you can use for your purpose. I will share those links to you. So what happens? How to find a case for classroom teaching? These are the things like syllabus. First of all, you have to target the syllabus. For example, if you're a marketing faculty and you are teaching the pricing strategy, this is the topic which you're going to teach in under marketing management. Now, you want that students should learn not only the concept, they should connect with the case also. You can go with the links being provided to you. I will provide you some link of the case collections like Harvard case collection, Ivy case collection, all those I will provide. You can search there and you can come to know what cases are related to pricing strategies. You have to refine what should be the learning outcomes, what actually you want to. There might be various dimensions under pricing strategies. There might be various things, but you have to limit yourself to one or two things. You cannot teach all the things. You have to limit what is more important, which topic is more important. You have to find the existing cases and the gaps for the new cases, which can be helpful for making your own case if you want to discuss. So next is like the common route. The next is like, if you want to make your own case, you can. There are two ways of discussing case. One is short case, like that is informally you are putting up some of the things and delivering the class, giving a situation to a class. And one is a structured case. So structured case requires a timeline. It requires to prepare a format, a proper things which we have already seen. But other things like short cases, media story, alumni story, consulting, these you can share. This you can share in the format of your own, and you can ask them, if you were in their shoes, what could be your answer? So in this way, you can start a classroom teaching, a case for classroom teaching. So there are two ways I have given you. One is like, you have to develop a case. A short cases you can develop, or a long case you can develop. A story can be gathered from all these senses. Whether you are developing long or short, you can get the senses from here: consulting, alumni, media, and all. And the other way around is there are various case collections like Harvard, Ivy, and UK Case Center. From there you can get by creating an account. Now, this is the last topic, and then I will go to the discussion of few cases I will show you. How to analyze a case in a classroom. अब आपके पास केस है, लेकिन स्टूडेंट कैसे एनालाइज करेंगे? This becomes a foremost question. Are they randomly said that yes, this is the question, now you answer? Or are they randomly asked that, okay, have you read the case? What do you know about it? So there are many stages of going ahead in the class. Like, first of all, the case should be given in advance. It should not be discussed instantly. It should be given in advance, 2 3 days, 4 days. They should come prepared with it. Now it's all up to you whether you are giving the questions also in advance, or you want that they should reflect the answer by when you are asking the question for the first time. So this all up to you. So, but again, how you should start this case discussion in the class, how they should analyze. So the one way is like you should make them first of all warm up exercise. A kind of warm up exercise happens where you try to know whether they have read the case or not. You ask few very simple questions. Okay, what is the case topic? What is the problem they are facing? Who is the protagonist? Where this company is located? Then what is their market share right now? Then who are the competitors? These things are the warm up things. Then you come to the questions. Now you cannot directly come to the questions. You can go to the questions, and there are certain rules given by Harvard. I will pass on the link to you. That is known as PCADI. PCADI stands for problem, alternatives, criteria, analysis, decision, and implementation. This is the overall way, set structure given by Harvard how to analyze a case. If you see step 1, problem definition, which says that what is the major challenges, what are the problems, what are the opportunities or decision that has to be made. I already told you research problem has to be noted down. What is the problem being faced by this company and what is the root cause of it? This has to be defined. This has to be found out from the case itself. This is not easily available. Then alternatives. Now the root cause you have identified, now you have to give the alternatives. For example, market share is going down. What are the alternatives? The cause is like there is a problem in the product. So the alternatives are like product development or market expansion. You can enter into the other market. So out of these alternatives, which could be the best alternative? This you need to go with. Then third, criteria. Now if you set the alternatives are, for example, the problem is downfall in the market share, and now why it is doing, the root cause is there is a product problem, people are not preferring it. So you have to go with the product development and launch of new product, market expansion. Criteria. Now if you go with the product development, it is connected with some theory, new product development. In your marketing, it is connected with some theory, new product development. And if you're going with market expansion, it is again connected with some international marketing theory. What are the ways through which you can go? Is it licensing, franchisee, or the entering into the new way? These are the ways. So what are the key decision criteria that will guide? That has to be mentioned by the student. See, pair by pair, it's a kind of onion, peeling the onion. So the first is you are knowing the problem itself, then you are entering the root cause, and then what are the alternatives, and then you are formulating the theories, concept behind it. These are the criteria. Then analysis. So alternatives are there, criteria are there, theories are there. Now here in-depth analysis is being done for each of the alternatives, each of the criteria is being laid. What could be the solution regarding it? What could be the pros and cons regarding it? And you are producing the plans, plan A, plan B, plan C. This is the way through which you are moving ahead with. And then the final decision. Final decision which is being proposed by students, not you. They are the people who are just studying this case and deciphering it. So they are coming with, okay, I got 5 alternatives, and out of this 5 alternatives, this is the best solution I feel like. So next is implementation plan. Implementation plan says that What could be the timeline? What could be the projected cost? What could be the competitor reaction if they are going ahead with this plan? So you have given the solution, but that solution should not be generic one. It should be with some relevant information in background. Like if you are going with plan A, product development, so product development and which product, you have gone with the taste preference analysis and all cultural aspects, you have done some marketing research is required to be done, you have analyzed the competitors, then how long it will take? You have gone with the criteria, the theories behind it, new product development, all those things, the how long it will take and what would be the cost. All these things has to be mentioned. Next, these are the things which you have to go. So I have given you 5 to 6 steps, which is known as PCADI, which you can use. It's not that obligation ki yahi hona chahiye. Now case discussion is in your hand. How well you can craft it, how well you can explain in the class or analyze in the class, it's all up to you. This is one of the structure given by Harvard. ऐसा नहीं है कि इसी को फॉलो करना है, but more or less you will end by doing this only. You'll end by following PCADI. Now I will give you one case study example, Karma United. So this case study just for your explanation कि कैसा दिखता है case, how it looks like, and there are n number of structure. I told you already, case is having n number of structure. It's flexible in nature. So I'm just showing you this. See, Karma United, this is the first, and sub heading is like how the Danish sports brand Hummel wants to change the world through sports. So this case is about this Denmark based company Hummel, which are in the sports. Just a minute, huh? Just hold a minute, huh? I'm just pausing. एक मिनट आइएगा, एक मिनट. You just come after 10 minutes, huh? Okay. So what is happening here? This, if you see this Hummel brand Hummel, they are revolving around a person. What? You have never heard of the job title? They are creating a curiosity, karma. Karma itself, in Hindi, we say that karma, it reflects what you do, it comes back to you. That is a karma. So in Denmark, they have followed this Buddhist philosopher and they have made a kind of position itself. जैसे CEO का position होता है, जैसे manager, they have made a karma developer, a position itself. And the story revolves around a person who has recruited for this position. So I'm not going in detail, but still, if you can go and you can find a protagonist here, this is the person who is known as protagonist. You can find, and then they have explained the details in the first introduction part, and then about the company Hummel International. They have explained past, present, and future in this overall paragraph, along with some many times this picture which you are seeing. These are put into the end of the case exhibit at the end. Then Karma United changed the world through sport. What is the problem area? How they started this Karma United. So they are putting that into picture. And they have explained what they have done, what solution they wanted to seek, what they are actually doing. All these things they have presented here. Now, they have end with the situation. They have end the kind of this case with the situation, the challenges. So these are the few challenges which are mentioned here. The challenge of supply chain, and they have given all the story behind it. What is happening all around the world, not only to their content. And finally, this is the dilemma, ending with the dilemma. If you see, it is ending with the question: how would the strategy affect external stakeholders such as customer and supplier, and how should potential changes be managed internally in order to support and engage from Hummels employees? So these are few examples. They have left it. They have not given solution here. If you see, they have not given solution here. They have not given any answer here. Now, exhibits are important. They have given the exhibits of in the sense of Hummel International values. So these are being taken, maybe the secondary data or maybe talked by the company itself. Then they have given some links. So either you can call it exhibit or you can call references. Here, sometimes people call it references. So these are the things which you can see and find in the case. Rest, if you go with the teaching note, quickly, just 1 minute I will take and then I will end this session. Teaching notes start with this, the title, and then summarization of the teaching case itself in few words. Then objective and target audience, which I told you that what is the objective of this. Many people write, they have written in paragraph wise. Many people write point wise. Point wise is also good. And then what pedagogy preparation, this is like plan, teaching plan, which I was saying. So they have written teaching approach and strategy. You can call it teaching plan also. So opening and introduction, 25 minutes. Then student assignment, 40 minutes. So in the student assignment, they have given few questions. Like, considering the recent media criticism, should Humble continue its commitment to company karma? So there are n number of solution to it. So these solutions are also mentioned here. So they have given the solution also. See, these are the solutions. These are the solutions being given. So these solutions are not meant directly to be given to the students. Actually, they should come up with this solution. It is only for the purpose of teachers or the researchers to know how to guide the students, where they should move ahead, how they should move ahead, and what would be the learning points, what these people are learning from this question. That has to be also explained to the student. So in this way, if you see, there are 3 or 4 questions here, and certain additional reading, if you want to mention, you can mention. And at last, some acknowledgement or feedback or epilogue, which I told you. Epilogue you can mention. So they have not mentioned epilogue here, but you can mention epilogue, what happened with the company at last. So thank you. This was my overall presentation. I hope you have got something, you have grasped something from this overall discussion. Thank you. I'm stopping the...
If you have any question, please ask. We can take 2 to 3 questions only. Any question from anyone? Any question? I request everyone to switch on your camera for the group photograph.
Hello. Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Sir, I have a doubt. It is like for the case study, like for the purpose of publication. And the journals and all. So that we have to prepare without teaching note or with teaching note, without teaching note, right?
See, there are 2 things. You have to see where you are publishing. Some journals accept the research articles. Research article where you have to give the solution itself. Along with case, you are giving the solution also. But few journals specifically says, like if you see some Emerald cases are there, Emerald journals are there, or UK case center or Ivy case which you are publishing, you cannot only give the problem. You have to support it with the teaching notes. So there are 2 things you have to prepare. One is case study itself, which I have shown, and the second is the teaching note. And they both count. They both count as a different publications.
Okay, so thank you, sir. And it will be very nice if you share the teaching, your case study teaching note, how you have prepared for this karma, so that we can also follow the same.
I will give you the links. You can note down. That is, quickly you can note down. You can search on Google UK Case Center. UK Case Center.
Okay, sir.
So you can go there and you can make your profile. You can register. If you should have a valid educational ID, like institute ID. आपका personal email ID पे नहीं होगा. Then you can have their access to it. Any further questions?
Any further questions?
UK Case Center, right, sir?
UK Case Center.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And the session was very fruitful, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I think, sir, there is no more questions. Thank you for your words, which you have told about the case study. This will definitely help everyone to write the case in the last, which we are giving as an assignment. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.